Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, if an American black male pulled a Carlee Liar Russell antic. Yes. If a black male had pulled a Carlee Liar Russell antic, oh, you best believe it'd have been all kind of situations coming out of that situation. But oh, look at the black male. Look at the black male. Look at they're always playing victims and stuff like that. They are criminals and they can't stop lying and all that kind of stuff like that. Even though the people who create do the most lies and criminality based upon stats is numbers of personnel within the predominant culture. Now, with that being said, Carlee, the liar, Russell, knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. She made that decision to outright lie. And I wanted to just do a quick podcast because it was also very interesting because the power supremacy, which is the most awesome mental manipulation force that's ever existed, right? This was shown for half a second, right? Of a second relating to social media time frame. And then the next big thing or next medium thing goes in various parts of the media, right? Because if you ask this question, today is August the 13th, 2023. If you ask numbers of people, hey man, when last time you thought about that Carlee Russell situation? You people say, oh man, you thought nothing about that, man. I mean, how are we going that, right? So I want to do a quick show on that because again, as a timepiece, purpose. So regardless, so regardless, because unfortunately, there is a unfortunately major strife going on within the American black culture between American black men and American black women overall. And this is done by purpose and design. And the thing about with Carlee Delia Russell is that when this happened, there was this sisterhood, which I got why it came out like this. But again, the one sidedness with some white lie uh, intellectualization within certain types of American Black sisters mindset, relating to you had some of the sisterhoods within certain sections of American Black womanhood would be like, oh, look, oh, no, Black women, no, we need to protect our Black women. I'm gonna get to that in a second. We need to protect our Black women. Oh, they got some against Black women, right? But in this society, you still have quite a number of sisters that don't talk nothing about black males. And they certainly don't quite a number of sisters don't talk about the togetherness of black men and black women together overall, because you got sellouts among black men and black women as well. American black men, black women as well, just like some other ones that have black skin from certain parts of the continent of Africa. You got some sellouts within certain parts of Caribbean areas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. But I may show something a little bit relating to that, if unless I forget about it, because that's not really the topic of today. But let me just get into this for a second. Let me just go ahead and show this video. Before I do that, see the thing about it, there is no comparison in society relating to an American black woman and the understandability relating to what the American black male and what the American black male is still going through with black pain. That also encompasses black pain for black men and black women. So there is no other culture of women that can understand the black pain toward black male in this society overall, right? I'm not talking about sellouts and ones that do criminality because they just want to harm people, even though the system want to make it seem like this is blackmail criminality just across the board, creating havoc. But they never talk about how numbers of males within the predominant culture who are the ultimate numbers of personnel who commit the most crimes. But again, not the topic for today. And there's no comparison to an American black woman when she is on point, a nice looking sister. Now, again, to each of their own what a nice looking sister might be, but a nice looking sister, at the same time, she is truly feminine. At the same time, she has a this true aura about herself, and that she doesn't have to say how much independent she is. She just show it. And she does not need to prove that to a black male because she understands that there is a role for black women and there's a role for black males. Black males are supposed to be the protectors. The black women are supposed to be the nurturers, irregardless of what career or job or business that black woman has. Her role is not to be masculine, right? Oh, it's the black male where they're always breaking up families and things like that. And you're talking about black women and how they should be, their role is supposed to be this nurturing, and you're trying to minimize black women and things like that. And that's ridiculous because you're trying to act like that. It's all black. I'm not listening to that little white lie nonsense. That's what white feminism does to certain types of sisterhood. They infectualize certain American black sisters' mindset to talk like certain numbers of women within the predominant culture. The nonsense. Those ones who can't even stand their own males within the predominant culture, right? Now, I don't go too much of that in this particular topic, right? But I'm just saying, prior to around 1970, especially in the 60s, when you still have formal segregation that was going on, in the 60s, still going in the 60s. And then again, this is before still quite a number of personnel within Africa, numbers of personnel in the Caribbean, still were not even over here in this country. I make this point because you have some personnel within certain parts of Africanism, certain parts of Caribbeanism. Don't talk about the ones who do this. They have the nerve to talk about black folks, right? I don't go. That's not the topic for that, but it's ridiculous how some have the nerve to run as fast as possible on those planes to get away from that, get away from certain parts of Africa, to get away from certain parts of the Caribbean, to get on that plane as fast as possible because of corruption and different things going on toward their people by their people that look like them. The nerve of some people on that part, right? But again, it's a different topic. So the thing with the American black woman, there's no other comparison of a woman when a black woman's on point. And what is the number one woman in this country who has the most jealousy put upon her, who has had the most sexualized interpretation of her overallness? What other woman in this society who has had the most hatred put upon them, laws and policies put upon them as well? I mean, obviously, it's not obviously, it was for black men and black women, but we're talking about the Carlee Lia Russell because her being an American black woman, and the sisterhood came out even more was like, and jumping up and down about, oh, society don't like black women and black women go missing and we need to protect black women again. And which may ask the question, what is the number one women in this country that has most hatred put upon them? Numbers of American black women. So you would think that the sisterhood will want to come together more with American black males. But that's not the situation, right? Because white feminism has infectualized a certain section of American black women to act like that they are a mountain to themselves. And that is illogical, right? It's like, do you really think that none of the American black women are going to protect themselves, right, against however not barbarian type personnel if they wanted to sit there and and go in attacking mode, or which they go against certain numbers of women, black women, today society in general on different things you see in the news? Do you see numbers of males within the Padamés culture jumping up and down and defending them? Nope. Do you see numbers of Hispanic personnel, males defending American black women jumping in when they see certain women and certain males within the Padamés culture showing hatred toward American black women? Of course not. Do you see numbers of what we call Native American males jumping up and down to come to the rescue of numbers of American black women? Certainly not. Do you see numbers of males from the Asian numbers of culture? Uh, uh, um, coming to the rescue of American black women when they see again numbers of women within the Padamés culture showing hatred or showing males from certain section of the Padamés culture showing violence and hatred toward American black women. Do you see them doing that, running to their rescue? Of course not. So the thing about it is the sisterhood does not understand the numbers of American the numbers of American black women do not understand there's just like a war upon the black male, there is even more war upon the American black women. And so the thing about what Carlee Delia Russell did was also just mess up quite a number of things going against also the American black woman. But uh so Carlee Delia Russell is about 25 years old, right? The story goes. And she supposedly had disappeared after she called those the three numbers, right, of emergency, right, around July 13th, around that time frame, and that she had reported some kind of toddler, walking around some kind of diaper or whatever it is, on some scratch of, some kind of scratch of highway or something like that, or street, no scratch of interstate, well, stretch of a highway, and for some different reason they said she got at the car, right, without her cell phone and went up to the little toddler or infant child, right? They had the little diaper on or something like that. And all of a sudden you hear her screaming, and all of a sudden that was it. And then a couple of days later, she shows up back at her parents' house, right? And still to this day, August 13th, 2023, you still have not heard anything. August 13th, 2023, you still have not really heard anything about from her of what happened. See, this is the power of supremacy. They understand that just give things certain time frame, and many people forget about certain things. But again, if this had been a black male who did this, there'd have been even more black pain upon black males. Oh, they're all talking about racism. Oh, they're all talking about being victims and stuff like that, as if for several hundred years, the black male has been the number one most hated male in the society. So go to hell with that game, because black males have been the number one most endangered males in this country. So a person go to hell and playing that game. So again, the thing about it, if Carlee Delia Russell would have been a black male and he did that, see, the sisterhood wouldn't have been jumping up and down about, oh, well, I understand, for some reason he probably got traumatized and something happened for him to make up that lie. Nope. It'd be like, oh, that black male, see, that's they get. See, that's they get. They always be trying to go toward those women from the other culture. They're always on social media talking about black women. Sure, they do not like that. So it'd have been this hatred put upon the American black male like that, even from numbers of women within American black culture would have been saying that to American black males, right? Oh, talking about racism and stuff like that. look, they need to stop talking about racism and stuff like that, and stop lying and stop hating on American black women, and stop trashing American black women, and get out there like we be doing and get more businesses, and then they get out there and do more working and stuff like that, like the American black women. That's what have happened. And have you noticed that numbers of American black sisterhood, they haven't said too much about her outright lie. But let me go ahead and show you something because I want to make this very uh, 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 a not a long show for today, but it was just interesting because again, if Carlee the lie Russell, if that had been a black male who did that, oh my goodness. Oh, but one thing I wanted to show something. It's interesting because this also went past quite a number of people's mindset. They didn't really take a look at this. Look at this. Uh, Look at how Carly Russell is portrayed. This was some of the main pictures they would show her as, right? They would show her they were showing a little short little miniskirt on the left side, and they show her in a little black little dress, kind of a snug fitting black dress. Look nice in it, right? But this is what they were show her as, right? In a very sexualized way, right? Again, the little short little miniskirt on the left side, right? And the little black little kind of snug fitting little, no, it's a nice little pretty dress on the right side. But they will show her in a very sexualized way. So anytime you overall had some woman within predominant based culture or anybody else, would they sit? Do you recall them sitting there showing uh, numbers of those women's pictures with some little short miniskirt on or some little snug fitting dress on? Nope. Think about that. You don't recall basically ever seeing in a totality numbers of women from predominant based culture. The ones say, I'm just saying that uh, reported had been kidnapped uh, and lied about it. And again, I'm not talking about the ones that unfortunately that have been real victims, be it Hispanic women, be it numbers of Asian women, be it numbers of certain types of Native American women, etc. You didn't sit there and see them being portrayed with a short mini skirts on and snub fitting dresses. See, again, this one talked about how they sexualized Carly, the lie Russell as well, right? And numbers of the sisterhood didn't even see that as well. How they sexualized Carly Russell. But again, if it had been a black male that lied about this, they'd have been talking about how the black males always talking about race, which had nothing to do with, that part with if he'd have been kidnapped, right? After he saw a child on the road. But once they sit, first of all, if that would even happen, which we know darn well, right, that does not happen as far as that type of scenario, even though, again, black males gigantically as well come up missing, but that's a different topic that you have the sisterhood that I don't want to talk about. And I've noticed this that you have quite a number of American black women. They make sure not to talk about American black males now again being coming up missing even because again, some people say, well, because they're talking about American black women going missing. I got that, but I'm saying to you that it's interesting how even society they make sure not to really talk about the missingness of American black males, especially numbers of American black youth. How disgusting is that? How they minimize that? Now, again, let me sit there and just show you another video, okay? Because again, I don't want to make this show too long, but I just want to just look at this picture again, showing this black woman how they usually like to do show black women in a sexualized way. But this went past quite a number of people, especially numbers of women within the sisterhood. They didn't catch this. A lot of them say, "Wait a minute, why is it not showing her a little mini skirt? Why is it not showing her some? It's a pretty, black little dress on that." But it's like, my goodness, compared to when other different women, say they come up missing. I'm talking about unfortunate, and say they've lied. They just sit there and broadcast her out with little short outfits on. Just think about that. What I'm saying to you on that. So let me show this other last video relating to this. on that to Carlee, the liar Russell, because again, if that had been a black male who did that, oh man, it would have been even more all out war upon the American black male. He's always making stuff up, and he probably making stuff up because of racial racism. Then he started talking about racial racism, and again, you'd have some sisterhood saying the same thing. Oh well, see, the black males always talking about racism, and they're always talking about what things happen to them and stuff like that. Well, again, they need to stop lying, and they need to, that's talk like some assistant supremacists, right? That's how, I don't want to go there on that one. So we play this one last video under Carlee the Liar Russell. So this is when one of the enforcement personnel was reading a statement from, I guess, her legality type person, admitting what she did. Mm-hmm.
My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone from the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers. We have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Anthony to further discuss this case. We're currently in discussions with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office in Bessemer about possible criminal charges.
Mm-hmm. So you heard it yourself. Again, I'm using that as a timepiece purpose and fair usage doctrine. She admitted that she lied. Oh, and you best believe it that there were people from however different parts of the culture, parts of different cultures and backgrounds and various parts, even maybe global parts, that was like, oh my goodness, the black woman, is she like, why are they always lying? Right? See, they don't talk about how numbers of women within the predominant culture constantly lie on some things, lie on things themselves, right? How many numbers of women within predominant culture lie about being assaulted, being abused, being robbed, right? Being kidnapped. I'm talking about the ones who do this, not the ones that unfortunately, legitimately have been victims of that. But here we go again. It's disgusting. And to hell with people who sit there and act like that this don't happen, that people don't lie, women don't lie for within the predominant culture, because they do lie. And they have lied. And especially upon numbers of black folks in general, about talking about putting racial racism, hatred upon American blacks, and act like they ain't did nothing wrong. But again, back to the story. If an American black male did what Carlee the liar Russell did, my goodness, it would have been hell. It'd have been it they would have put that would have been put back, 1,000 steps back, right? And people talking about, oh, look at the black male. See, they always lying. They always lying about racism. They always talking about white supremacy. They just making stuff up. They always talking about, how again white supremacy, is all over, and racism, is something that's bad, going against the black male and stuff like that. See, I told you, black males always making stuff up. See, you see how they, in generalization, how they do that. But again, they won't talk about how, what's your thought of when numbers of women within the predominant culture lie, right? Especially numbers of males within predominant culture. Why you're not talking about them? What those women when they lie? Mm-hmm. What do they do when you sit there and checkmate that lie? When they start, what do they do when you checkmate them? Let them know, nope, I know what you just try to do a little bit, right? So you have nothing to say when numbers of your own women within Paname's culture sit back and lie about different things, about being assaulted again, about being robbed, about being fabricating, about being kidnapped, let alone when they sit there and say they're kidnapped and it was some black male or they was assaulted by some black male and stuff like that. Like, so what about that? Right? They do like this. Yes. Yeah. Because they know you got them then. But again, if American black male did what Carlee, the liar Russell did, oh my goodness, it's been hell to pay. See, the thing about it, the American black male is still the most hated man in this society. See, they don't sit there and show this hatred toward numbers of males within the Paname's culture who commit the most crimes, who show the most hatred. And then, and what do certain numbers of males within Panama's culture do? Well, why are you talking about numbers of males that do this? It's not all because again, I'm not playing that little silly freaking game. I observe right through that silly game, right? Because again, the same type of person, you say, how is it that, the number one male in the society that has the most criminality put upon them, that has the most racial racism, terrorism put against them, this is by stats. No one comes close to the stats of the hatred toward the American black male, and you have but an extreme fear amount of males within the predominant culture that say, yep, yeah, that's true, and sit there and be like, yeah, yeah, that's true, that's true. And even that is regardless of so what? Because then it's like, how about the same numbers of personnel demand the legislative personnel, political personnel to say, you need to sit there and give what is earned toward the American black personnel in general for to get them an anti-black hatred bill. But again, but here we go again. But see, the sisterhood of chaos, right? There's unfortunately a non small number of American black women who have hatred for the American black male. And they're trying to get all these different programs and grants and things like this specifically for black women. And you do not hear not even a small fraction of American black women saying, wait a minute now, sisters. Wait a minute. I mean, I know, it's good for us to get certain things, but wait a minute now. Do you not understand? This is getting out of hand. They're giving us this amount of programs and assistance and this and all that, and this company is giving this and this program and all this kind of stuff like this, or this scholarship, for black girls and black women. I'm just giving an example, right? But at the same time, what they're not doing nothing for black males. No, sisters, we need to get some understanding. No, this is getting out of hand. They're not doing nothing for our black males like this. Not of any comparison. But the sisterhood does not care because the sisterhood overall has been systematically infectualized with white feminism, and this has been going on for last I would say the last 2 generations. And unfortunately, I have to say that the American black men, the American black culture overall, only has half a generation to 1 generation left before the overall complete destruction of the overall culture. It's unfortunately that numbers of American blacks that don't understand that the destruction is coming. Yes. And unfortunately, there is quite a number of American black women that do not understand that this system has hatred for them. And so the hatred that a lot of parts of this system has for the American black women, and you got numbers of American black women showing hatred for American black males, And then you got numbers of American black women, the ones I'm talking about, that don't want to have any kind of accountability whatsoever. They don't want to listen to black males trying to tell them things. At the same time, they're worried about what black males are doing and traveling, which is a different topic in itself. But at the same time, American black women have no heat or lava flow when black women, the ones that go, different places, solo on their girls trip, right, domestically or overseas or to the islands, and however ones that engage in sexual relations and dating and doing a thing. But the sisterhood don't have no heat for that. You see the hypocrisy of that? But let me sit there and show you something, because here's the thing about it. This is why, again, see this the sisterhood numbers of American black women do not understand. The system can care less about American black males overall. They say we do not care about overall American black males. Now we'll watch them and see what's going on with them, but we know already that they know there are places they can have the toughest black males, and you know what? We got these whoppings that'll sit there and cut them in half. So let them get out of hand. And we got these little sonar whoppings that'll sit there and bust their eardrum. Let them get out of hand. Even though again, even though again, I don't go there, because then it's like, oh, you're gonna do that to those black males, and you talking about, oh, democracy or fighting for democracy across other countries and stuff like that, the hypocrisy that will show, but that's a different topic in itself, right? But see, the American black numbers of black women, I'm talking about the ones who do this. Because yes, there is a small percentage of great, good black women out there, right? But unfortunately, it's even a small amount of American black women who's actually saying something to the not so good numbers of American black women who have the hatred for American black males and don't want to listen to black males. Heck, they don't listen to their elder black women, right? So it's like, and you cannot, as a sisterhood, succeed in this society when you are going against the ones who do it, going against that black male like that, right? But at the same time, you don't check your own black sisterhood overall. Let me sit there and show you this. But again, the sisterhood gets mad at males when they travel and doing their thing and worried about where they're going. But watch this. But the sisterhood thinks that American black males supposed to sit back and just settle for hatred and vileness and disrespect from certain numbers of American black women, right?
Guess what? It ain't about just you. But let's take the point you made, since though that's how y'all want to do, make it all about you. If somebody told you to smile, and you said you were what, offended?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because it's like, why is there such a demand for women to, well, especially for black women to just always look a certain way? Like, why can't we just naturally be whatever we feel?
Mm, mm. It's the How come we just can't be, the way we feel? And I think she had a boyfriend or somebody right next to her, and some people would probably call him docile as well, because there's some people will say a real type of American black male say, "Wait a minute now, for a second, hold on now, you know, look, you can't be coming across like that. You're making me look bad on this, right?" Because she was the sister in the video. It was like, oh, if a black man say, hey, sister, smile. Don't get me wrong. I know some people are going through all kind of stuff like that, rough times, different things like that. I'm not talking about that. But it seemed to come across as this particular sister and how many other sisters, it's like just coming across as hardcore regardless. And how many sisters that are walking, a black male is looking her way and she'll turn her head in this direction because she's thinking, oh, I don't want to be bothered about this black male. But at the same darn time, how many complain about, well, why black males don't want to talk to us? Well, black males can handle an independent woman. That bullcrap shaming ain't working. Well, not on more and more black males. It's going the opposite. Now, unfortunately, you have still sell out numbers of black males, some ones that are, and some quite a number of still males that are docile. But more and more, not enough, of black males saying, hey, I don't need to hear your nonsense. Go play it with somebody else. Right? tell somebody to smile, a black woman smile, and I got to smile for her. Wow. Okay, all right. So when you need some protection, well, I hope you got a boyfriend. And say, for instance, a lot of people go and get your boyfriend. Well, you know what? And some black males say, "Oh, I remember seeing you. Oh, you know what? Your black boyfriend. Oh, guess he can sit there and handle all those different males. Go for it. Yeah, and both y'all can fight the racial racism terrorism. Bye, right? See, you got numbers of sisters. See, they want to have the protection of a black male when they want to have the protection. At the same time, they want to be left alone when they want to be left alone. They want to be in a relationship when they want to be in a relationship. They want to break up when they want to be in a relationship, right? They want to be able to work when they want to be able to work. They want to be able to make the decision when they want to be able to make a decision. If they have kids, they want to be able to make decisions to be at home and stay home mom when they want to make decisions about that. And then at the same time, when some of them have a good black male and they leave, at the same time, they want other sisterhood to sit there and jump on a bandwagon and say, "Oh, the black male left." But how many sisters leave good black males every darn day, right? But the sisterhood don't make sure not to talk about that when sisterhood leave good black males. See, unfortunately, again, this is why I say in closing. Oh, I want to read something. I want to read something to you. This is a couple of comments that I came across when they was talking about Carlee the liar, Russell. They was talking about how Carlee's actions created hurt, confusion, and dishonesty. Of course, it did. What's me where that's something about her ex boyfriend that was kind of unfunny too. How he at one time was talking about my Carlee's ex boyfriend, how he was, oh, stop bullying her. Stop, as if she's some little child, right? Oh, stop bullying her, right? And then when it came out that Morris like, man, she was lying. Oh, okay. I was made aware of the false narrative, right? After coming to her defense. Mm-hmm. Right. See, that's dorsileness, right? Not logical analysis, right? On that. What do you mean by that? Well, how do you know? Well, I'm not going to go there. Not going to even go there on that, right? And say, for instance, even if that situation and he did what he was doing as a boyfriend. Here's the thing about it. She supposedly had wrote this tweet before that saying that give me 1 second. It was something she had tweeted or some situation. Oh, I always say one thing. I always say one thing I won't do is stay with someone who cheated on me like you went and had socks with someone else and think I'll be sweet one day. Hell no. They said she tweeted on July the 10th. Hmm. Now, he never sit there and say anything about those tweets or different tweets that she had made if she was talking about, right? Now, some people probably say his hands were not definitely clean and they probably had some relationship situations. He made sure to keep quiet on that. Maybe not the point. But if that was the truth, you know what? She should have just left. If he was cheating left and right, as the sisterhood love trying to make it seem like that only black males cheat, right? There's no such thing as black women don't cheat. Well, you know what? Forget that. Let me sit there and show you something for a second before I finish up on this, because that is so beyond nonsensical. When you have numbers of sisterhood that seem to love saying that bull crap, half little white lie that make it seem like that when the black women, it's like the number one women that like saying I'm a single mother is numbers of women within predominant culture. But again, I don't want to go into all that. They don't talk about when they cheat, right? When they leave good men. But and then where that stuff permeates down to numbers of sisterhood, right? Who are the second most numbers of personnel that got this warped ass mentality. The sisterhood that walk around talking about, I'm a single mother. I'm a single. It's like you got like some kind of badge on or something. I'm a single mother. I'm a single mother. But they ain't gonna talk about the ones this applies to. They ain't gonna talk about when they cheat, when they lie, when that black male came home from a long damn day's work or his own business, whatever it is, right? Or say, for instance, she was working, doing her thing, and the kid or kids was that daycare. I'm talking about the ones applied to. How many times that black woman has cheated? Hmm? Huh? How many times that black woman that stay home mom? How many times she's cheated? But again, when you don't hear that part. You hear numbers of quite a number of American black women. Oh, I'm a single mom. I'm a single mama. I'm a single mother. I'm a single mother. As some kind of badge of honor. But they never talk about 99.99% of the time the ones when the sisterhood cheats. Ain't it interesting? Let me sit there and show you something for a second. What I'm talking about. Uh, let me see. Can I find it? Give me 1 second. Here it is.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here.
Mm, 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 mm. See, she didn't say that he was doing this and doing that, and again, that's a term about two different people to work things out or not work things out. But she didn't say he was doing all these other bad things. Nope. She was doing what? Thinking she was better than him because of some little position she had at wherever place, right? And then you hear the masculinity in her voice, right? To prior to the 1970s, this masculine voice just wasn't there. It's like you had the sisterhood that don't even realize their voice is becoming even more masculine. And then they'll blame the black male on that. Well, that's because if they wouldn't run out on the black woman, if they would take responsibility, and this black woman sitting there telling you tale that she left a good black male. What's her damn excuse then? What was her excuse? Right? That she thought she was better. She didn't say that black male was this, black male was that, right? She just loved him because, hey, she thought she was better than him. And then you heard the other sister I just showed you not too long ago. She gets mad at other black males. You know, she's supposed to have black male, but having a black male, you can have weak black males too, by the way. Hint. So when that sister, I think she's supposed to have had a black male in the vehicle with her or something to that effect. I think it was maybe so, maybe not. Right. But the point is, regardless, to sit there and have that sister that when the greatness of Kevin Samuels made his soul rest, and even saying that man's name causes a lot of sisters, anxiety and anti-male hatred. Oh, he didn't like black women, all this old nonsense. Because why? Because he was cursing them out left and right. Nope. Right? Because he was calling them bees and all account. Nope. Even though you got numbers of black women calling each other B's and H's, to my the ones who do that, but we could pretend that really don't happen, right? But because Kevin Samuels was sitting there to relate over to black women to, hey, be feminine and submissive, and you got black women think that equate that with slavery. But when black males were the primary breadwinner, you didn't hear a black males run out there and saying, I feel like a slave going out there working every darn day, coming home from a long darn day. I think it's wrong. Why am I feel like I'm a slave. Nope. See, again, just like again, the sisterhood was very quiet when Carlee, the liar Russell, was found out she admitted herself that she lied. You notice the sisterhood was very quiet. But again, if that was a black male who did that, oh my goodness. Oh, it'd have been all kind of nonsense coming out on that part, right? All kind of nonsense. So, couple last quick things on this. I was looking at some of the comments, and the sisterhood has no clue of the hatred that's going on, or will even more go toward American black women, because the system, they just play around with quite a number of American black males, like they're like little toys. You know how little cat toys with their little paws, little toys and stuff like that. It's paw them and throwing it around and chewing it and throw it away and going about their business. And they look at black males like that overall. Just something to play with, like a little toy, chew on with racial racism, terrorism. They get tired of doing that. They just put them in the corner somewhere, and they'll come back a little bit later on and chew to them again, racial racism again. This is what they do to the majority of black male society. Where it's gotten so bad where black pain is one of the number one pains toward the black male, right? On that. But now they starting to the system is going toward even more now black women. And those are black women don't even understand what is heading toward them. More black women pain. And they don't understand. And those of black males ain't hear nonsense. And again, you have some black women, American black women that say, wait a minute now, but I hear what hear what y'all saying, but you can't be sitting there talking about women in general or black women in general because well you said because that's not all black women. Not listening, not playing that game, go to hell. But those games too, unfortunately, about towards some certain numbers of American black sisters that like to play these little silly games. It's disgusting, right? Because it's like they look upon black males. I'm talking about the ones in the sisterhood who truly have a hatred or usage for black males, and unfortunately, they have been so what's it conceited, right? In their uh, uh, being used to sitting there treating black males with discontentment, right? Of being able to control an overall amount of black males' mentality. Again, not being accountable when numbers of black women do wrong, right? And then change the dynamics seem like it's black males' problem, right? And numbers of black males are getting tired of this nonsense. Not enough at all. Not even 20, 30% are not enough. But again, this is what I think with the passport movement, passport brothers movement, which is you got sisters worried about numbers of sisters worried about why black males are traveling on passports as if black males were not traveling before the passport movement, right? And how many countless upon countless this different topic, different kind of show, when you got numbers of countless numbers of black women. I mean, so many parts of social media just turn into black males, or you're going to third and fourth world countries and you talking to women and stuff like that don't really want you and they trying to get a green card, and you can't deal with strong black women even though black women has some of the highest freaking darn college debt, even though black women also has some of the highest, besides certain women for the predominant coach has some of the highest depression rates themselves and stuff, like has some of the highest the obesity rates in comparison to other coaches as well, has some of the most health disparity situations overall, has some of the highest depressional rates again, has some, this ridiculous type situations, right? But they want to worry about what black males are doing, right? Divorce, break up more than most other cultures of males or women to their males, besides certain ones within the predominant culture, right? And it's like, man, many males are getting tired of this old hypocrisy, right? But again, you know what? Numbers of black sisters, black women sisters. I'm not talking about the ones that are good, but again, there are even lesser numbers of good black women that are understanding that it is a direness, right? So numbers of black women sisters that understand, and still many are not, that time is clicking. Time is clicking. And then you have these other cultures that are sitting there also buying their time and sitting there laughing at American blacks in general, right? And those American black women are sitting there buying into white feminism and also, buying into that nonsense, right? Which has nothing to do with them, which they seem to forget who was the number one. I don't get 100 years ago, right? Which is 1923. Do you think black women and numbers of women within predominant culture were equal then? Do they think about 40 years later, 1960s and stuff like that, when former segregation was still going on in public facilities and transportation and different things like that? Do they sit there and think colleges, do numbers of black women think that the sisterhood was on equal grounds with numbers of women within the Panamese culture? See, that's logical analysis. Now, the sisters don't get that shit through their thick skulls. Numbers of women within the Panamese culture, quite a number of them can't stand black women. And numbers of black women don't understand. All thing they're doing is stirring up the hornet's nest. And numbers of black males are not, more and more numbers of black males ain't listening to this nonsense. So you dig yourself to ground, you have to sit there and deal with the consequences on that. And for some of the remaining good amount of sisters, do not let the sisterhood get you in trouble. Someone have to learn the hard way. And the last couple of things I want to say on this is some of these comments. Some of these comments is that give me 1 second. Carlee. Carlee is what is wrong with our country. She is most likely a girl who came from a troubled childhood. In parentheses, meaning that she came from a hood culture, right? She came from a ghetto culture, even though the word ghetto has nothing to do with black, right? We don't want to talk about that, right? And stuff like that. But that's a code word. Troubled childhood means ghetto and hood, right? And stuff like that, as if numbers of women for the primate culture didn't come from, how many of them came from unsanitary backgrounds themselves, right? Not a long time ago in history themselves. Came from also uneducated parents, ones that also had their hand out, getting some, getting had their hand out for government assistance themselves, right? So we don't play that little tactic. But it's interesting how one this person said, "Carlos, what's wrong with our country?" So a percentage of a culture that makes a small percentage of the culture, right? Black folks make up 12 to 14% of the population. And I got some people that say, "Oh, it's about more or less, about more." I'm not going to all that, because then it's not taking consideration. You're talking about personnel that say they're black, right? 12 to 14% mean that person will be from Africa, that person there can be from the Caribbean, the person there can be from any other place, but and they add themselves in there saying they're black, right? So that's it, that makes it within that 12 to 14% of the population, right? So of course it's still going to be low when you just take out all the other type of non-American black version stuff like that. But so the problem with the country is Carlee, being this American black woman, is what's wrong with the whole entire country. American black women just don't understand that, right? The hatred that they've looked at between the toward the American black women, and this is because you had certain women from where the Banana-based culture and some other people that put a smile on their face, and toward American black women means nothing. American black women don't understand overall, with few exceptions, what is going down, what is happening in the structure that's coming toward American black culture in general. Uh, One last thing. Well, okay, she should be used as a poster child for this lie. Here we go again. See, she should be used as a poster child for this lie. Out, and I'm relaying. This is a poster board deflection, right? Again, who is the number one women within this system that says the most freaking lies? Numbers of women within certain sections of the predominant culture. But again, the society, they don't sit there, make sure not to hold numbers of women within the predominant culture accountable. Nope, because there's a code. There's a white code for that, right? With few exceptions. Because again, there are some good numbers of personnel within predominant culture who has lost their lives, right? And may their souls rest. Now, with that being said, okay, that's that part, right? Because again, if an overall amount of people within predominant culture were good, how is it that they don't sit there and make the political personnel sit there and make sure and demand that the political faction sit there and give, which is earn a anti-black bill? Why is it that if the predominant culture was so great and benevolent, why is it that they don't sit there and be like, we demand for the black folks to sit there and give them reparations? They've earned it, right? Nope. So black folks, American black people overall don't understand that concept on that, right? American black folks are getting played, right? Just like the people of color banner game, right? And I'm talking about the ones who are falling for that stuff, right? Like the people of color game. You got numbers of American black men, American black women keep falling for the people of color shenanigans, right? This is the most nonsensical game tactic, right? People of color, a minority game. Oh, they're black and indigenous type people in the people of color banner, as if black folks can't be indigenous, which numbers are, or however numbers are. Black folks can't be people of color. It's like that old silly, nonsensical bull crap, bull banana dong stuff of saying, what is it, brown and black. And they're however numbers of black women falls for that black and brown bull crap. You like, do they not understand it's like numbers of American black males, the ones that are falling for it? There are black folks that have brown skin. Golly, boy, these games. So one of the last things I wanted to say is they said, I don't know if I have to charge count. And this is one of the personnel that understands some different things. They say, okay, since they have, so, oh, also, and last thing, because they also said they will be charging, or they trying to charge Carlee the liar, Russell, for her damaging lie. Right now, what's unfunny is that, and well, I guess what was gathered is that Carlee lied Russell that she didn't stop because it was supposed to be a young black child. It was a non-black child. I think that was the consensus of the story, right? And that was um, the very messed up part of it. The nationwide attention was based upon also that the child was supposed to be non-black, right? Because how many black children go missing each and every day, and there's no national coverage for that. So one of the things that somebody was saying, since they have charged her, they talk about how some law enforcement personnel now have to charge the Karens calling into law enforcement with bogus incidents. Hmm, that's not going to happen. Remember, no one's above the law, which is a great point. And they said, somebody else said, make sure y'all have the same energy for the Karens. Now, I don't agree with the word Karens because there are numbers of black women called Karens. So I do not go for just saying that word called Karen. It is, I do not agree with that word whatsoever. There needs to be an individual. If that person's that name, you say that person did that from that predominant based culture woman. But just put them in some generic banner saying Karen, I do not agree with that whatsoever. It's not logical analysis. Because again, you have high numbers of obviously women called Karens. You also have again numbers of black women called Karens. You may have higher numbers of Hispanic women called Karens. You see this, right? Because you cannot call uh, 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 bad attitude women, you can't call them Lucretias or Laquitas, right? You see, that's logical analysis. But I do understand when they say make sure you all have the same engine for Karens, even though that's not going to happen. And unfortunately, numbers of American Black sisterhood does not understand overall that the destruction is heading toward the American Black culture overall, and who will be their protectors? Numbers of males within predominant culture? Of course not. Numbers of Hispanic males? Of course not. Numbers of males within Asian culture? Definitely not. Numbers of Native American males? Whatever that's supposed to mean? Of course not. Border breaker, illegal immigration males? Don't even make me laugh. Immigration males? Please go somewhere with that. So who do these numbers of American Black sisters think who gonna be the protectors? It's like saying you insulting the hell out of some your men left or right overall, and then the sisterhood thinks that black males are supposed to continue to come to their rescue when numbers of males are doing them wrong. That's not the way it goes. Now again, I'm not talking about some of the good black women out there. See again, not playing that little tactic. It's common sense, logical sense that there's some good black women out there. I'm relaying to you that unfortunately, more in the sisterhood is infectionalizing more of the sisters. And there was a consequence to that. So the numbers of American black women out there who have their have a good man, they better hold on to that man. They truly need to. And if they sit there looking for a good black male, I truly hope they figure out how to showcase the American black male. Because let me tell you something: as time go and there is more different global opportunities and more numbers of cultures coming to the United States, there's going to be even more competition for American black males. Don't let nobody fool you. Don't let nobody fool you. Some of the top males still that numbers of women will want to get with is still the American black male on that. It's something about that American black male that quite a number of women from various parts of the globe and in the United States, it's something about them. They know there is no comparison when it truly comes down to the historical powerhouse and the way something about that black male moves and the way he thinks. But the sister wanted to show him as a criminal and he was uneducated and educate don't mean formal degree. You can have education hands on. So let's not get that confused. But see, again, the system has a hatred for black males, right? So they can't stand reality thinking black males. So thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP.